As you know by now, we've been focusing on a lot of up-and-coming Republican candidates who really have a chance to flip some Democrat seats in this upcoming midterm election. And, well, they'll be part, hopefully, of a brand new majority of Republicans in the House and Senate. And joining us right now from Oregon, that's right, Oregon, it's Alek Skarlatos, the Republican nominee. Alek, thanks for joining us. You're trying to go to the House of Representatives. Look at you.
Well, absolutely. Thank you. Just exciting to have Oregon and play for a change.
Well, and right now, let's just be clear here. There's only one Republican for the entire state of Oregon. I think you guys have, what, 5 congressional seats, right? And only one of them is represented. Oh, 6, excuse me. And only one is represented by a Republican. So this would be a pretty big deal for you to win this one. And as of now, it's a dead heat in your district. Why do you think that is? Why do you think even in Oregon, people are fed up?
Well, I think it's just cumulative bad Democrat policies. I mean, this state has been Democrat for about 45 years in the governor's mansion, about 48 years in this congressional district. I'm running in the poorest congressional district in the state. It's almost impossible for the Democrats to pass the buck anymore because they are in charge in a lot of cases from the county commission level all the way up to the presidency now. We've got homelessness. Drug use is basically completely legal in Oregon. Measure 110 was passed. And now that's been absolutely terrible for drug use, homelessness, overdose rates. Just the amount of crime has increased incredibly, especially in areas like Portland. Our taxes have continued to gone up, but we aren't seeing any benefit from that. Oregon has some of the most expensive gas in the country, for instance. And then, of course, nationwide with the inflation and interest rate hikes that have been going on for over a year now. I mean, it's just all these bad policies are coming to a head and people are finally getting fed up.
Yeah, clearly. And I love the fact that you've decided that this is your next step for service. We can see the challenge coins behind you. You are a veteran of the military. And I just wonder how you got to this point where you decided, you know, my time to serve is not up. This is the next step in my journey for this nation.
I just came home and saw that this district was struggling economically. I mean, like I said, we're the poorest congressional district in the state. I looked into why that was. And I think, like a lot of people, the more I learned, the angrier I got until I finally decided to do something. I mean, this should be a very successful district. We have very abundant natural resources, some of the most productive softwood forests on the planet, huge section of coastline with very productive fishing areas. And, you know, we're the poorest congressional district in the state, and there's no excuse for that.
And it's beautiful, too. You're right. You have natural resources. You get great people. I'd love for you to sort of tell us, in your opinion, what went wrong. You know, most of the country, we think of Oregon, and we just think it's one-party dominated. Democrats pretty much whatever they want at the state level, and as I've already pointed out in their congressional delegation, they pretty much get whatever they want. So you'd think this would be the liberal utopia in Oregon. So what do you think the problem is?
Well, I think it's exactly that. The Democrats can pass just about whatever they want. And unfortunately, a lot of them don't have even one foot in reality. And so they passed a lot of these, bad bills like Measure 110, which legalized all drugs. They try to pass, things like cap and trade. They passed a cat tax, which is, on gross sales, which taxes everybody. I mean, gross sales, not net sales for businesses, is absolutely a killer for large quantity, thin margin businesses. And they pass pretty much anything that comes to mind, they pass. And oftentimes that's a tax or some sort of burdensome regulation. And again, finally, over the years, they've just built up to where they finally pissed enough people off in Oregon that a lot of these people are looking to vote for someone else, whether it be me, the Republican, or even a libertarian or whatever.
When you get out there in the district, Alek, are you getting resistance from voters just because they're sort of their default position is, oh no, I can't vote for a Republican, right? Or have we now reached the point where it's like, listen, anybody, just come to me with a new idea that makes sense?
I think it's mostly the second one. I mean, when we do talk to people, there's still those hardline Democrats that are never going to vote Republican. There's still the Republicans that are going to vote Republican every cycle, no matter what. But it's the people in the middle that are like almost sheepishly admitting, like, yeah, I think I'm going to vote Republican this cycle because things have gotten so bad. It's not even really that they agree with our ideals more than the Democrats. Just the Democrats have wrecked this thing so badly that they're willing to try anything else.
So we'd forgive some viewers right now who are sort of doing a double take saying, wait a minute, candidate for Congress, military veteran. No, that guy's a movie star. He was in a movie, a Clint Eastwood movie. I mean, was it tough for you to decide whether you should pursue your Hollywood acting career versus going into politics?
No, I don't think Hollywood was for us, or at least for me. I mean, I saw myself on screen and was like, wow, he's a terrible actor. So I decided to move on.
Well, let's remind everybody, you were on that train that fateful day in Europe. I think it was heading from Paris to Brussels or Brussels to Paris. And you and a couple of your fellow military members thwarted a terror attack on that train. Clint Eastwood turned it into a movie, but cast you guys in those roles. What about that experience is sort of, obviously it gave you a bit of a profile and a bit of a name. Did it also sort of raise the stakes for you in terms of where we are as a nation and where we're supposed to fit in the world?
A little bit. I would say mostly the biggest impact on my life was stopping the terrorist attack. I mean, as you could imagine, it kind of, I suppose, caused me to realign my goals in life. I figured we could die any day. I got very lucky to survive that day, and I figured that my life had better mean something. And again, then I come home and see what's going on with our district, and I say, well, no one else has stepped up to run for this seat and gotten anywhere close, so I figured I'd better give it a shot. And luckily, with a lot of other things going on this year, we have a very good shot at flipping this seat, flipping other seats, and of course the governor's race in Oregon.
And here you are indeed. And by the way, Alek Skarlatos needs your support. AlekForOregon.com is the website, AlekForOregon.com. Yes. And this is the home stretch. So every bit of support will go a long way right now, I would think. Obviously, being a member of the House of Representatives, you'll be able to have a lot of influence in righting a lot of the wrongs that you've already laid out here. But this is also a federal position, so you have a say in our national security. And given your experience, I'd love for you to sort of speak to that and where you think the Biden administration has gone wrong here, specifically with the pullout of Afghanistan and the fact that that hasn't really been investigated or looked at. No one's lost their job over the Afghanistan pullout, Alek.
I think that's the best point to bring up. No one has lost their job, been fired, or even had the guts to resign after the Afghanistan withdrawal. I mean, 13 American lives were lost in the last week of the conflict in the largest ground attack in the entire global war on terror's history, and no one has taken responsibility. And we still have that same leadership, whether it be a general or Joe Biden, we still have that same leadership in office running this country and our foreign policy today, dealing with Russia and Ukraine and potentially China and Taiwan. It doesn't give me any confidence with where we're headed, and that's something I would absolutely look into if elected to Congress. We need some accountability.
How cool would it be here for you now in your civilian life to become a member of Congress and then sort of be questioning a witness that has a couple of stars on his shoulder? I mean, I don't want to get too far into it, but that really speaks to what America is all about, doesn't it?
Yeah. But I would say that there's some more senior members of Congress that are also Afghanistan veterans that might take precedent ahead of me. But that's absolutely something that I think needs to happen. And again, I think it's great that in this country, someone can run for office and right the wrongs that, have affected a lot of people, not only in the state of Oregon, but across the country now.
Yeah, real fast here. We've just got our last minute left here, but how has this experience been for you? I mean, it's quite jarring and a lot different, I think, from the life you've lived so far. Do you feel start to feel a little cynical about what it takes to run for office?
A little bit. I wouldn't recommend it. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, just a lot of stress. The whole thing feels like a roller coaster. Good day, bad day, good day, bad day. It's just all over the place. So I'm looking forward to November 8th, and hopefully we can chalk up another win here in Oregon and start righting a lot of these wrongs. Well,
it is a pain and it is a process, but we need people to step up and serve. Just as you served in the military, we need people to serve in elected office as well, because our voices have to be heard. And we are watching that race very closely, and we can't wait until election night. It's going to be a late night, and you're on the West Coast, but hopefully the Republicans will already have the majority before they even start counting your ballots.
I think they will, but we just want to be a part of it.
That's Alek Skarlatos. He is in Oregon, and he's ready to make some changes out there, and it's about time. Thank you, Alek. Get back to the campaign trail. More to come on O'Connor Tonight.